Welcome back everyone. First video of 2022, and I think it's time to make the most of winter and bring out the fat bike. Now if you've never ridden a fat bike, it's essentially a cross-country mountain bike with massive tires that give you extra float and grip in the snow. I had hoped to film everything while I was in Calgary, Alberta at the end of December, but the daytime highs were minus 25 degrees Celsius. That's about minus 13 Fahrenheit for my American friends. Now add the wind chill on top of that, and it felt like minus 36 degrees Celsius. I have pretty good gear, but it's hard to stay outside very long when the air is so cold that it hurts to breathe. So I've used footage from some previous warmer trips as well. You might notice some weird lobster claw looking things on my hands during the video. Those are just bar mitts, neoprene sleeves that slip over your handlebar to keep your hands warm. I'll tell you more about fat biking as we go along, but for now let's just get into some riding. This trail is called Highline. It is one of my absolute favorites on a fat bike.
Soft around the edges. Whoa. Okay, that might not happen. Come on. Oh my God, that's tiring. Come on. Finally. Way too much snow. That's a suspension bridge. You can see the wire stringing each piece along. It's Probably why it didn't go as planned. That's why you only do stupid things like that without looking. If it's low to the ground, low consequence. That's why you have studs. Whoa. Out of control. Woohoo! Okay, let's do a quick bike check. So a fat bike, basically just like a mountain bike, except with fat tires. Shocker. So these are 4.5-inch wide tires. These are studded. The nice thing about studded tires, despite costing several $100s, is that on a fat bike, when you're riding in the snow, they essentially don't wear out. So I expect these will be the one and only set of tires that I buy for this thing. In terms of air pressure, I typically run about 5 psi or so. So extremely low tire pressure, gives you lots of traction. You know, the trails aren't too rocky, obviously, because they're covered in snow, so you don't have to worry too much about hitting your rim or getting a flat or anything. I run a 1-out dropper post. This thing works down to, like, I think coldest I've done is -25 or so. Still works. It gets a little bit slow on the return, but gets the job done. Dropper post is nice on a fat bike because you're often getting back on your bike in awkward situations, and to be able to lower your seat a little bit to start pedaling again and get traction is quite handy. These are black Spire pedals, plastic body, very tall pins. Not sure how much you can see on that, but very tall pins, very large platform. So if I'm riding winter boots, which I have to if it's below, you know, -15 or so, you still have a large platform to put the boot on. And winter boots suck because they have just really awkward lugs on them. So, you know, it's meant to give you traction in the snow, not on the pedal. So having pedals with very large, very sharp pins can be quite handy. 1x drivetrain, really small front chainring. You know, a lot of the time you just really need to be able to spin, keep your cadence high, keep your pedaling smooth so you don't slip in the snow. There's an Orco Sasquatch frame. Really nice thing about this is how low the standover is. You can see at the top of the seat post, or seat tube is here. Really low slung top tube, because often what happens is you slip out on something, put your foot down in the snow, and the snow sinks down a foot or two, so you end up nailing your crotch on the top tube. So lower standover the better. I run a carbon rigid fork, much lighter and just more precise. You don't need suspension on a fat bike for the stuff that I've ridden, at least. Again, the snow is relatively smooth. There's not a lot of big chunk that you're riding over. So to be able to save at least, I don't know, probably a good 2 pounds on your front end, not have to worry about any other things going wrong, just having a nice light front end overall feels much better. I have some SRAM disc brakes on this. They're nice because they use dot fluid instead of mineral oil, so they don't freeze. I've ridden down into, again, like -25, and they've still worked relatively well. Yeah, otherwise you could use mechanical disc brakes, but if you're using mineral oil, unless someone has come up with a different formula that works better in cold, they freeze up and they don't work. So anyways, that's pretty much it in a fat bike. Not much to know. It's a mountain bike with fat tires.
I want to finish things off by dispelling a myth about fat biking, and that's that you can ride in deep powder. So here's an example. I'm riding on a trail that's been packed down by snowshoes. Now watch what happens when I get close to the edge. There, as soon as I hit the powder, you lose all control. There's no support. Your front tire washes out. Here's another example. Again, straight just off the trail, front tire washes. So I can finally get back on my bike, start pedaling again, try and keep a nice smooth cadence so you don't spin out. And right about there, front tire slips out again, and then you just get off and walk. Now there's an example of a groom trail. So some local associations have bought machine groomers, which leave this 1 to 2 foot wide path. It's amazing because it really opens up trail networks for more fat biking access in the winter. Same rule applies though. You see there, front tire comes off the trail and you just hit that powder and no support. Now, this is a multi-use trail, so first things first, don't do stupid things. You can always run into walkers, people walking their dogs with their kids, etc. Luckily, when it's -25, not many other people out, so I pretty much had free reign. Now, this is much firmer ground here. It's been really packed down by lots of traffic. There's just not quite much snow, so you can see how much more control I have, how much more speed I can carry when I'm on firm ground. Now, the final example is this steep chute. Now, there's not that much snow left on it because it is so steep. I think a lot of it has been kind of washed down. But even with giant tires with studs in them, you still slide out quite a bit. You can see my front tire just locked up a second ago. This gets kind of spicy because the bottom is actually a frozen creek, so you're desperately trying to avoid falling into that. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Fat biking is a really great time if you live in a winter wonderland. I would probably still choose dirt over snow, but at least it gives you some options. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll see you next time.